Good afternoon, good evening, or good night. If you haven't met me before, I'm Ash, and if you have, do you like the new look? If you're not up to speed with Among Us news, the show they announced like 3 years ago released really randomly last month. This video will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's only like 10-minute episodes. I will be focusing my discussions today on White and Blue, but I will obviously be referencing other characters mainly in relation to them. I will hopefully talk about the other characters in future. So what did I think of this show?
Real, welcome to the Skeld. We're so happy to have you amongst us. Or is it among us? I always forget which one is grammatically.
Spoiler alert, I loved it. I think this show was made with so much love for the source material, and while it's no masterpiece, it's easily a great show. With the base character models, they've done a really good job designing their outfits and accessories to tell you who these characters are, either by showing you off their personality or their profession, like with blue, purple, or red. White is a privileged, rich, probably white guy, and this open collared top is a good fit for like the rich, preppy vibe of the character. It reminds me very much of like a private school character in like live action shows. I have no major outside opinions on their voice actor, Patton Oswalt. I believe he was in like Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't think I recognize him from anything else. I don't know if you can tell by the fact all of my videos have been about animated cartoons, but I don't really watch a lot of live action or even a lot of adult media. But Mr. Oswald does do a fantastic job in this role. In general, I was very impressed with this cast. As far as I'm aware, none of them are like voice actors, so it was honestly pretty like cool to see them do such a good and genuine performance. And I think they're a pretty stacked cast. Once again, I'm not actually that familiar with, like, actors. Love voice actors. Don't know actors. But I'm pretty sure these are, like, some big-name people to be starring in the Among Us show. As I was writing this, I can't really recall any jokes or comedy that I didn't like in relation to White. Definitely not all laugh out loud hilarious, but all the comedy was well done. White especially I found very funny, even though they're basically just in this episode. They played off Green super well, and whilst they are a very one-note character, because they're only in this singular episode, it works really well. And for a comedy show, having White be this very privileged character that seems to have no personality outside of being a rich, guy spending all of his parents' money, it works well to set the tone of the show as they are the first death of the show. There is unfortunately not too much to say about White because they died first, so I'll go into a couple of just overall things I really liked about the show. I'm personally using they, them for all of the characters because that's what they canonically use in the show. So objectively, it's widowy queer, guys. These guys are widowy gay. And I get that they are pretty clearly like masc and femme presenting, especially with none of their voice actors, as far as I'm aware, being non-binary people. So I was also pretty impressed by how much they were willing to like show that everybody was attracted to Blue, including the like quote-unquote male or masc presenting characters, and how they paired up the characters in a way that I think makes it very easy to see queer readings, like between Black and Cyan, or we'll get to it a little bit deeper, Blue and Lime. And just a quick note on the art I've decided to do for talking about this show. It's not really a redesign, so I have given you 3 different forms of them, just an interpretation of their human form, a little Among Us, actual canonical Among Us guy, and then I really love on like TikTok and Instagram, and even like before this show came out, how people draw like their Among Us Sonas or OCs, or like the streamers that they watch you play Among Us. I love this like kind of specifically with purple, like this purple guy Vincent kind of vibe that they all have. where they're like just more humanoid versions of the actual Among Us characters. So I did all 3 of those little things. Once I have designed all of them, I will be offering a little sticker sheet of their little Among Us astronaut forms on my shop as a little sticker sheet. So definitely look out for that, or check out my website anyway, because I have cool art, and who doesn't want cool art? And you can also get the full illustrations with all 3 of their forms as a little redesign print on my website as well. At the end of episode 1, White does die, and we don't see them again, I believe, until the last episode, when, like, we see, like, their ghosts or those little zombie forms that they take. But I really liked White, I loved the performance, and I loved the animation of the show. I will say, I'm not too big on, like, gory shows. Like, I've seen Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss, but even I, like, look away sometimes. I'm super squeamish. So this show did make me quite squeamish, but it was funny and enjoyable enough that I was able to get through that, and that's kind of my opinion on, like, Hell of a Boss and Hazbin Hotel as well, and any other, like, gory comedy animations. I don't overly like gory live-action shows, just because it's a little harder to distance myself from what I'm seeing on screen, and especially if it's, like, an action tone or a horror tone. Not my cup of tea, if you couldn't tell by the fact that I've only covered My Little Pony and Steven Universe on this channel so far. But on to episode 2, I got so sick of Blue being super hot super quickly. They, like, did the joke for, like, literally all of the characters in a row, and I just didn't think that we needed to see that. Like, I sat there being like, we're seeing all of, I see. But then they died. And I was like, I see. We actually can't run this joke again in this way because we kill off this character this episode. So we gotta hit it all. Definitely wish they went about that in a different way. I understand why Blue died this episode, but preferably they could have survived a little bit longer so they could get more mileage out of this joke without annoying me specifically. Loved it in episode 1 and loved it specifically with Lime in episode 2, but once again, did not need to see it that many times in a row. And beyond that, I really enjoyed Blue's character. Being this, like, unreasonably good person was a super interesting contrast to our last dead crewmates and even, like, the rest of the cast. Admittedly, I totally thought it was an act and they were gonna be the imposter, so I was really surprised, like, when they died, even though them using the joke a million times in a row should have tipped me off. I just flew straight over my head. Generally speaking, I was really impressed with how well done the murder mystery aspect of the show was done. I had no idea who the imposter was going to be, and it, whilst didn't feel like a real game of Among Us necessarily, felt like an interesting mystery. But even then, it did feel like very aware of the community of Among Us. It made a lot of jokes of, like, the cast, like, trying to accuse each other with zero evidence, like, I just know it's them, I just have this gut feeling. My only complaint with, like, the mystery aspect of the show is I genuinely think this show would have functioned better if it was, like, released weekly, whereas instead I watched literally all 10 episodes in one sitting because there's only 100 minutes of content. I think it would have been far better for the show if it had come out, like, even bi-weekly, like maybe 2 episodes a week or something, or if it was just a 2-episode, special first release, like a lot of the Drag Race seasons do. Because then each week there'd be a lot more online community and stuff talking about, like, who they thought did it, and then people would be, like, going back and rewatching those episodes to try and look for little hints to see who the imposter might be. And I think that would have been way better for the longevity of this show's relevance. Among Us is already not as relevant as it was when they announced this show, So it was just a little bit weird that they didn't even try to, like, make it a more interesting community experience. I have this problem with streaming and, like, binging shows in general. I watch Drag Race every single week, and it is, like, the highlight of my week. I love spending the entire week thinking about and looking at Drag Race content and seeing what other people are saying about it, and being able to, like, rewatch scenes or the entire episode to figure out some more intricate details. And so especially for, like, a mystery show, I think it would have been far better if it released weekly. Potentially it could have been like how a lot of older cartoons released like 2 10-minute episodes as one episode, where it was like part A and part B, I think, like, is usually what, like, how the titles are functioned in, like, those big lists of episodes on, like, Wikipedia. But with only 10 episodes, that would have been, like, it would only have been 5 weeks, like, not even, like, barely a month of content. Whereas that would have been preferable to the not a month of content we got. We got it, like, it was not advertised at all before it was released, was not announced at all. It was, like, really, really fumbled by Paramount, I think, and I got beef with Paramount. I've got beef. I'm doing Lime next time, but I am going to touch on Lime and Blue's Yowie R, or, like, old man Yowie R relationship. I love them. I think they're adorable. I love, like, the scene with them when Blue is going like, I'm so glad you're letting me in and you trust me. It was comedic. It is so fun to see, like, very, like, masculine presenting people be queer, and the joke doesn't feel like it's making fun of queer people. It feels, like, very in, especially with how big old man Yowie is. And obviously I haven't done Black or Cyan in this video, but the Doomed Yuri, it eats. This show has given me everything I could ever want from a cartoon, actually. So those are my opinions, and I'd love to hear some of yours. And next week, or maybe on Friday, I don't remember, I will do Lime and Orange. Vaguely speaking, I'm going to be doing them in order of deaths, except for, like, Yellow and Brown and Cyan and Black, because I obviously want to pair them up in videos, and then a little final 3 eventually when I get up to them. And once again, once I have done all these designs, you can buy them. You can buy them, and you could have them. And wouldn't that be cool? You could show everyone how cringe and cool you are that you like the Among Us show. So thanks for listening to me ramble, and I'll see you next time. Bye!